Thing hooked up here. I've been playing and everything, so all my stuff is out of whack a little bit. We're gonna see what we can do. Let's see. Trying to get my other account pulled up here. All right. Turn that down. Excuse me. Okay. All right. Hey, good morning, Billy. Yeah, kill this off. I had my music going in my earbuds, but then I turned my phone on so I could monitor chat, and that killed my music. All right. I've been playing with OBS. I got to get up with Perry. He said he'd help walk me through some of it. I got my camera set up, and I got my music stuff set up where it'll play in the background, but it's stuck on the horizontal view, which I don't mind that. I like that, but right now trying to get more people in through the channel, I need that vertical view for a little bit, and I can't figure out how to flip it vertical and it look right on the OBS. Working on it. I'm going to do a couple of dab spoons and stuff this morning. I got a bunch of roach clips, but I really don't have a lot of different dab spoons set up, so I'm probably just going to work on some spoons. I'm going to do it out of cedar, and then this piece here is another piece that Miss Francis sent me. I'm going to spin this down for her, and I put a spoon in it. She don't do that stuff, but she can use those little spoons to scoop up her mica colors and stuff to put into her resins. And so I'm going to make her a couple. I'm going to try to find some spoons like this that are a little bit bigger, because I don't know if this is going to be big enough, because I mean really these are made for like clay scraping and stuff, but because it's not really cupped, it's just kind of flat and teardrop shaped. But I mean it'll work for mica powders, but I know they have bigger spoons out there, and so I want to try to find a bigger setup for her as well. But she said something about that last night in her lives, and I was like, oh yeah, I can make one of those for sure. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make some for Miss Francis and go from there. But I hope everybody's doing good this morning. She can make it work. I know it would work for her, but I know just looking at it and then playing with the pigment stuff myself, I'd like to get her, like this is my little plastic doodad that came with some of my resins. I'd like to find something that had a little scoop on there, a little scoop on there, a little bit, about that size. And if I could find something, I'm sure they're out there. Amazon has got all kind of stuff. See the size difference. Here we go. The size difference in that. And I'd like to have something like that that I could put into a stick, and that would work out perfect. But like you said, we'll make it work out for her. And then, it's all inside my box right now. But this is my mandrel set that I got. Finally got. I had found one that had all this stuff in it. This has got the tailstock saber. I put that in there, and it slips up with my tailstock and tightens everything down. And then I put my pin blanks in there. But I got to get some kits to go with it now. I have a couple of kits, but I don't have the bushings for them, so I got to get a bushing set and all. But goodness gracious, that right there alone was $60. But it's gonna be well worth it. I can't wait to start using it. Alright, I've babbled enough. I'm gonna drag out the dust mask, turn on the noisemakers, and start knocking this down. And I don't know what type of wood this is either. This is some stuff Miss Francis had stacked up. So let's see what we can make out of it for. Not sure what kind of shape I want to go with. I know with the way I do and the way I work with my tools, whenever I make any sharp edges, my tools aren't the traditional lathe tools. Like most of your traditional lathe tools, if they're super sharp, when you hit that wood, you don't even have to go back over it with sandpaper sometimes. I mean, some wood you do, some you don't, but I can't cut that clean and I have to sand stuff down a little bit, so I lose any kind of sharp edges. Like if I make a cap or any kind of ridges, if I'm not careful, I roll them over when I'm sanding, but they still come out looking good. But all right, babble, I say. Early morning here. We're looking at about 6 a.m. Got to make sure I ain't got no creepy crawlers sleeping in my dust mask. It's about time for me to change out my cartridges on here too. I have a box of new cartridges in here some daggum where. I just gotta find them. Then I have a old base like razor mask kind of deal, and I have filters for that. I got to get that cleaned out and blowed off real good, put new filters on it, and see if that'll fit the grandkids, because they're itching to get back out here and carve with me. But that'll be next weekend. All right, y'all, I'll babble, so here we go. And I changed my tips out. My carbide cutters, I'll go through and catch the edges of my pieces every now and then, my centers, and then when I go to set my tool down, sometimes I got a bad habit of wanting to throw my tool down underneath my lathe right here, and so as I'm going to set it down, I'll bang the daggum cutting tip right into my lathe, and it's like, ugh. But yeah, I found a couple of nicks in the square and a couple of flat spots in the round ones, so I've retired those. I'm not even going to try to sharpen them back up. So I have this set and then a brand new set to rotate through. So we should be good to go, and heck, it should even turn a little better. But all right, here we go. That's as low as my lathe goes right there. It's a little variable control, and sometimes it's almost like the knob. Yeah, you see how it kind of stutter. I'm just barely touching the knob and it's sputtering. I think my little dial might be trying to wear out. We'll have to figure that one out. All right, I got the dust mask on and getting with it. Good morning. Let's see, I forgot to do that much. Hold on just a minute, y'all. Get a little turbulent here.
we go. Let me get y'all mounted back up here. There we go. I had the sound down on that.
And then this blade, it has a nick right there on the side, but I seen where I put it in there, so I'm going to use that as my reference when I turn it. So once that spot gets back around to there, I'll take this one out too. It's going to be a, I'm going to turn this into a spoon setup like this here. Going to spin it down and then insert one of these dab spoons, but the ones I'm making right now are going to be utilized for something else, for spooning epoxy or resin. It's not mica powders and stuff. There we go. I'll get it right. It's too early, y'all. I ain't had enough coffee yet.
No problem. It's almost round. That's going to be a cool looking piece.
Alright, it's almost round. That's going to be a cool looking piece. Woo, it's dry. Yeah, a little flat there. A little flat right there. Yeah, a little bit more down, and that'll be the diameter right here. I'll leave it flat right there for a base so it'll stand up, and then I'll start doing some tapers and stuff through here. Hey, good morning, Matthew. Oh, let me get a little more coffee. I never got into hunting. I did when I was young. I did small game hunting and stuff, just being a kid running around with the BB gun and 22 and stuff like that. But as I got older, I didn't do that much. That I was more into fishing. And my dad, he loved to go hunting. He took me out hunting a couple of times when I was almost a teenager, and I was ready to shoot one and everything. He come home all happy, telling my mom about it. My mom's old wannabe hippie, and so she about had a meltdown and wouldn't let me go hunting no more. But I love deer meat. All right, give me a little more coffee, and I'm gonna get back at it, y'all. We're looking at a humid 75 in the shop. I can't wait. I like it this temperature because at least it's not dang near 100, but I can't wait for it to cool off a little bit more. Alright, y'all, I'm going to get back at it. Again, I don't know what that is. It's got a nice color to it. Can't wait to get it toned down, sanded up, and put some polished stuff on there and see how it pops then. Alright, here we go.
Getting a chair to prop up on. Oh. What it do? Good morning, Mike. Good morning. Hold on. I know what I need to do. Let's get rid of a little bit. Quit moving, stop moving. Oh, getting seasick. Hold on, y'all. What did it do? There it goes. Alright, put y'all back in the mount. Get seasick. Don't get seasick. Pick that coffee down. We need that coffee. Oh, goodness. Wobble, wobble. Right there. There we go. I'll leave it alone. I'm beginning to wonder if that thing ever got sharpened. Hey, Miss June. Good morning. Alright, let me start getting my bacon in here. Hey, good morning, Bazzy. Yeah, I need to sharpen that flat carbide. It feels like it ain't getting them sharp compared to the damn round one. It's cutting real good. We'll do that later. Good morning, Lizzie. Alright, I gotta bring all that down a little bit. Hey, good morning, Josh. I'm gonna go to 240. I'm gonna leave that state. Let's see, hold on. Almost jumped the gun. I need to bring that down a little bit. That'll work. Alright, now we go to the 240. Oh yeah, I'm good. I busted my thumb right there a few weeks back, but the nails growed back out. You see where my blister's starting to grow out? Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do greatly appreciate all the support. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, throw me some comments out there. Yeah, good morning, Dawn. Alright. So we gonna go to 320. A little bit of 400. A little bit of 600. The century is working on the fingers this morning. That's a good thing. What was 600? So a little bit of 1,000. Woo! Hot. Pull it down a little bit. A little bit of 1,200. Hey, good morning, Runic. I gotta get up with you, sir. Runic, I gotta get up with you. I need to know if there's any good, like bushing kits to buy to start off that would give me a large assortment of the pin bushings. I got my mandrel and all yesterday, and the barrel cutters and whatnot. I just got to get some bushings and some pin kits. I turn the daggone vacuum off now. I'm fixing to put polish paste on there. I finally found the MT1 kit that had the the mandrel saber piece for the tailstock, and then the mandrel, and then it came with 3 of the basic, I guess, tube sizes, and then the 7mm drill bit and all that. Basically everything to get started, butted pin kit and bushings. So I'm on the right track. All right, here we go. Let's start putting some of this pretty stuff on there and make all these grains pop out. Runic, this is a piece that Miss Francis has sent me. I'm gonna make this. Remember, she was saying last night that she could use some spoons. I'm gonna make her a bunch of little spoons. I'm not sure if these are gonna be big enough for her, but this is as big as what I got. But I'm gonna put them in there and get a few her way. Oh, that's getting burnt. That's, ooh, I like that. Yo, that's gonna look good. And I'll drill out right there where my tailstock's going in for the spoon, and then I'll epoxy that in there. And then she likes blue, so I figured when I get ready to put the epoxy in there, I'll just mix some of my glow-in-the-dark pigment together real good, and that way it'll have a little blue dot of epoxy that'll glow real bright. And I'm gonna use that glow pigment that does not require the UV light. That way it'll glow more often. I can feel some roughness in this. I don't know if that's trash in my paste or if it's actual. Yeah, let's see. That might have been a piece of sawdust. I don't feel it now. This might not have been good to use this paste on here. It looks like it's got some open pores that might be sucking some of that paste into it, leaving specks. That's no good. A little more pressure. Let me try to get some heat to that. See if I can't get that off of there. Alright. Yeah, that took some of that paste. What do I have to do with that? Go back with some denatured alcohol and get that back out of those greens. That looks good though. Besides the lightness in the openings from that polish. But I'll drill it down right there and put the spoon coming out of it right there, and then it'll be a stand-up spoon. Kind of like that. And I'll leave this one a little bit longer. Most of my dab spoons, this is one of my first ones, I like to make the metal part a little bit shorter. I'll bring it down to that flat spot. But with Miss Francis dipping into her like little mica jars or something like that, I'll leave some length on there for it. But that's cool. That's number one. We'll put that off to the side. I don't have to drill it and do all that right now. I'll get that done a little bit later. Alright, that came out pretty good. Oh, a little more coffee, yo. Alright, please hit that like, subscribe, all that good stuff for me. I'm gonna set up now. I guess I'm gonna throw some cedar on there. Knock a piece of cedar down. Let's see.
Let's do this. This is a two-tone piece here. It's got some of that heartwood sapwood going on. So I'll put that in there, and it's a big piece, so I can get some a decent base out of those. But let's see. Yep, let me get this mounted up, and we'll get knocking this one down. Don't have it marked, so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. Try to get as much meat in there as I can. That's not bad right there. That'll work. Okay, we got that going. Crank her in there a little bit. As we know, that stuff's gonna start, it's soft, so it's gonna slip good. Alright. And then my square scraper, that daggum thing's acting like it hadn't been sharpened. I could have tossed it in the box and not sharpened it. I don't know, but I'm going to turn the edge on it and see. That's what I'll do today. I got to edit a video, get me a video edited, and then while I'm catching up on videos, I need to sharpen this tip. I need to sharpen the fresh tips. There we go. Yeah, there's Runik's got some good content. Everybody in here's got good content. Y'all need to bounce around and check everybody's channel out. Drop your links too. Do all that good stuff. I do not mind. That's why I make everybody blue. And just everybody be nice, be happy, and grow this crazy community, right? There we go. All right, I'm going to put on my dust mask and knock this thing down around. Once I get it knocked down around, I'm going to turn everything off for a second and sit back, look at chat for just a minute, then I'll get back with it. Just depends on how my back's feeling. It's a little achy, and we got some weather coming in, I guess. It's more achy than normal. All right, here go the noisemakers. Again. There we go. I had to get my headset on so I get some tunes going. I'll get y'all some tunes pretty soon.
Hold on, I'll get you fixed here in a minute, buddy. But yeah, spread his link. I'll get you blue shortly. I'm trying to be too fast with this. Woo. I squirrel out all the damn time, Rooney. That's it. I squirrel out all the damn time. That's what we say, squirrel. I blame it on the concussions and the sleep apnea and maybe a little too much medication. But no, I've been whopped in the head a few times, so I blame a lot of my squirrel on that. But yeah, I got to get some bushings and all that because, like I said, I got my pin kit, my mandrel, all the barrels for it. But yep. And this bit is gold. Ooh. Shit, you know that fair ride, the zipper? My crazy mama was riding that thing when she was pregnant with me. Whew. Not to mention all the head bumps. Batshit crazy we are. Good morning, Mr. Roy. This was the first piece I did earlier. I'm not sure what kind of wood it is. That's gonna look good. a good flat spot in the whole thing. Goodness. Look, I'll show y'all what I'm working with. That's almost gone. And then I got this big piece of tear out that I got to work down. So that's got to come down a good bit still. But it's going to be a nice looking piece. I can leave this in, bring it down, and come down and break it off in the middle. measure this off and see. Oh, come on. That's not bad for, you know, that's damn near center. Wow, I'm sitting there. Screw it back up and I'll get my tape in it. Alright, Bones, have a good one, buddy. I'll catch you live in a bit. I'll catch you live in a little while on your afternoon one for sure. Thank you for stopping by. All right, Hobo, thank you for stopping by. I'm going to get you glue whenever I get situated from here. Hey, good morning, Robert. Heck yeah. All right. I need a little smaller. Oh, heck yeah, I can't wait to see it done up. Y'all can't see yet. Alright, I'm going to start sanding it a little bit now. I don't want to lose my sharp edges, so I'm going to try to be a little more careful here. Ooh, I don't want that red in there. Oh yeah, let's see. I think I can go straight to 320. gonna mark this real quick, y'all. It's a clean piece. I got to tag it. I got cedar everywhere. Uh-oh, come on now, what's what I'm doing? Y'all ain't supposed to let that happen, though. Alright, a little bit of 320. Gotta make sure that bottom's true. No better, no better. Number 400. And that's to tag it. Ooh, we got a tag on there. Where's that tag? That one. Nice. A little bit of 1,000. The daggone sensor is working in them fingers. Normally that hot stuff don't bother me, but it's like super hot this morning. Yeah. Probably just my damn nerves are so stubborn cold. Alright, let me get some of this cedar up real quick. Getting all my sandpaper. I sucked my screw back in there. I did that junk yesterday. Alright, let's get it now. Oh, headset's on and the music done quit playing. Turn that noise. Ooh, that's gonna look good when that grain pops out, y'all. Let's see. All that down. Trying to get me a little bit of coffee. I hadn't even had a whole cup yet. Oh, goodness. I hope everybody's having an awesome morning. Thank you so much for tuning into my crazy butt. I'm fixing to throw some of that polish on there, and that's going to darken up, and them grains are... see, that's what I was feeling. I thought there was still some pull. Daggone. That's a deep piece. I can't sand that out right there. Well, back to the turning board. It's gonna look good, but now I need to take it back down. There's a nice little chunk of tear out right there, and I don't want to. Man, I can take it all back down real slow, but with this cedar, I got to go slow or I'm liable to just get more tear out. I got to address that right there, though. That's what we call it, that quality control in the works. Let's see, it's just right here. Okay, I can leave all that alone. I can come in this bevel right here, swoop this down a little bit and bring that down, and then swoop back in there right there, and I should be able to get that out. Oh, I got a tiny spot right there. I can get this, I just gotta go easy. Dude, it's been brought up many times, because a lot of them do kind of look into that direction, but when you're turning stuff with curves and swoops, unless I start putting sharp edges on there, it's just gonna have that shape. But when I put the sharp edges on there, I always sand them off, so that you can see this started with sharper edges, but now they're kind of curved. But it is what it is. And there's a market for everything. A little bit more. Give me a little more speed. Almost. Didn't change the shape too much. Alright, I think I managed to get all that little bit of tear out going. No, not yet. I haven't played with too many little off-the-wall designs. I started to last year towards Christmas time. I started tinkering with ornaments and stuff. Let's see. Where's my favorite one? There it is. I did this last year. Made the old school Christmas bulb. Oop, there we go. Sorry, didn't have it. It's got some wormholes going on in there. It's an old piece of pecan that fell out the tree. But yeah, that turned out pretty cool. And then I did my little snowman. But those was all last year's work. My little wannabe Christmas tree I did. I had a marble on top of that, little clear marble epoxied on there, but it keeps getting knocked off. Alright, let me get back at it. I'm going to sand this down a little bit and then put some polish on there. Just going to go straight to the 600 because there's not many marks in there. I should be okay. Just got to get this in right here, work back down. Hey Matt, have a good morning, man. Be safe out there. Thank you for tuning in. Alright, now we're going to go with a little bit of 1000 just to get some of that scuffs off of there. $1,200. I got to be careful and not hit it too hard or make another tear out. The cedar just, it chips out real easy. It's just dry. I mean, that's a good thing because I guess I don't have to worry about it cracking no more. Grumpy equals a better Saturday morning call. No, sir. No, you want to watch something cool? I appreciate that, Robert. But Jake Thompson, there's a YouTube channel. Jake Thompson, he does a skit called Saturday Morning Cartoons. All he does is make pin blanks. And he does a lot of wood turning. Don't get me wrong when I say all he does, because what he does is awesome. But he does pin blanks and everything on his show. He's got a good live every Saturday morning. Starts at 10 o'clock Central. You have to check him out. Jake Thompson. The Saturday Morning Cartoon Show is what he calls it. It's pretty good. He does pin blanks that are rectangle and square, I mean, kind of shaped like that, but he does all different kind of epoxy pours, and then he does stabilized wood burls and stuff, and slices, and then he does a bunch of neat stuff. I like watching his show on Saturdays. I missed it last Saturday, we had the grandkids here, and I had done it live, and then got busy doing other stuff. All right, let me turn the noise maker off here. Turn that down some. All right, I'm gonna lock that out of the way so I don't slide it back into piece. Slap some polish on here and see what it looks like. It's gonna darken up some, which that's what I do like, because then that makes those grains pop out a lot too. Alright, put my cap back on there so I don't get no sawdust in there. Alright. Yeah, he's got a good little community going on over there too, on that Saturday morning cartoon show. This is pretty neat. He does little giveaways. He gets so many people in there watching, he'll do a giveaway. It's normally like a pen blank and a kit to make a pen, stuff like that. Then he does a lot for Make-A-Wish. A lot of fundraising for that organization. Like I say, he's got a pretty cool channel. I like everything he does. Good attitude over there. Good spirit. Good people all around. That's where I met Mr. Johnny from Johnny Lathcraft. I think I run into him from Saturday morning cartoons. Hey, good morning, Rubberneck. Oh, this is gonna look good. Y'all just had a sneak peek when it stalled right there. See, that's I want to get a larger lathe for sure down the road. Right now, I love working with what I got because it serves my purposes and I'm still learning. But with these shapes, I would love to incorporate these shapes and stuff into larger pieces and make like vases and all that kind of stuff. I think that will be my hobby and my niche. There you go. I think that will be my thing. You know, roach clips, that's what made me. I'm always going to make my roach clips and stuff, but I do want to be able to make stuff for the other market and stuff out there. Because I want to be able to make money doing what I do. I'm broke, disabled, and let's see, busted, disabled, and broke. There you go. Oh. And so, turn this down a little bit, sling all my polish off. But, yeah. I'll get set up one of these days. I'll get enough stock, enough inventory where it'll be worth my while to make an Etsy page or something. This is going to look good, y'all. Got enough polish on there now. I'm fixing to speed it up, take this all back off, and then this piece will be done except for drilling it out through the spoon. And again, just using little bitty pieces of clean paper towel. I'm taking all the wax and the mineral oil back off, what didn't soak into the wood. Kind of speed it up and then add a little pressure, kind of varnish it in there, I guess you could say. Kind of getting it hot to where it'll make that wax heat up and push in there. And then it also clean the rest of it off the piece because I want it to have that natural smell and look still. Alright, y'all, I think this piece is done. Nice, look at that. Look, I love that color. Let me take the pressure off of it right here so we don't split it. Nice. Alright, right here I have the perfect start for my center. And then I'll go to my drill press. You know, I'll drill down in there a little bit. And then I'll epoxy a spoon in there like this. And the end, I left it a little thick. My intentions is to mix up the epoxy and put some pigment color in there. And then when I put it down in there, try to have like maybe like a little teardrop of color right there on the end. But let's see what we got here. We got this one. This was the first piece, and I don't know what kind of wood that is, but that's just gorgeous. I love the color in that. And then here's another little one. And then again, this one's out of my cedar. Awesome. All right, anybody
anybody gonna hang out with me, I'm gonna turn around and do another one on this little piece right here. I already got my center right there. Woo, turn off. Alright, you had little chest pieces. That would be cool. I'm gonna shave this off and get with it. See, that's the thing about it is I've thought about making little pieces like that, but I don't have any jigs or nothing like that. I know I could probably make a jig, but it's just replicating everything. You know, I do good when I have an image and I can follow. It'll come out real close most of the time, but when I start trying to mass produce something and make it look like something, sure as crud, it's not going to look like what I wanted it to. And then maybe after I turn this, I have this piece glued up on a waste block. And this is the first time I've ever spun off of a waste block like this. So it's been sitting for a few days, so it should be good and solid. And I'm going to spin that down into a DabSpoon base like what I've been doing, except this one's just going to be out of epoxy. That's my leftover epoxy pours when I make my molds. And then I got to do that sometime today. I have to slow down and stop what I'm doing and actually make some new molds up and pour me some new blanks. I only have 2 that are carvable. I have 2 that I just poured, but I truly need to let them sit for about a week before I try turning them. I'm just trying to scratch this little edge off right here, y'all, so it'll go in the, when I put my center in there, it'll go in there straight. Almost got my finger. Is it what they say, wear a glove? And Grumpy says you should wear a glove, especially if you got the neuropathy. You can't feel what the heck you're doing. And you might not feel it when you cut yourself. Just got to get that daggum little piece cut off out cutting the top of my knuckle. I don't want it to split, so I need it as low as I can get it, closer to that thicker piece. That's better. Alright, y'all can quit sweating, Grumpy. I ain't doing the stupid stuff no more. Tailstock was tight. Oh, no, look at there. At least it wasn't turned on. I did that with the skew the other day and sucked the daggum thing around the corner. Oh, my back. Alright, it's telling me I need more coffee, y'all. I gotta try to get that a little better. That's not too bad. It's not perfect, but we'll knock it back down around. I can hear it splitting. Alright, gonna get back at it, y'all. I babbled enough. Put my dust mask back on. The cedar will dang sure stop you up. What would your knife or your Dremel or what? I see what you said you hit your thumb the other day. Oh, I gotta get back at this, y'all. Alright, here we go.
Morning, Billy. I gotta be careful now. I done made that too damn small. Ooh, I don't want to put much more pressure on it. Wait, don't drag on camera. Not there. I'm trying to get all up in there and see what I'm doing. I ain't done with the bottom right now. Whoop, I done did it again. There we go. I'm gonna jump to 400. There's 600. Alright, where's my 1,000? Go to 1,000. Supposed to put some polish on this one with all this one I done do. We'll go 1200. For the 1500. Oh, I get this mask off again now, finally. Whew. I hate that. I do not like wearing that thing, but I got to. Anybody doing any sanding, woodworking, cutting, anything, you need to wear your mask. It's gonna suck when you get all that daggone stuff in your lungs and you're wondering why you can't breathe too good, and doctor will tell you, wear your mask. I'll get off that soapbox. This is gonna look good, y'all. I go on the grit. It just, with the wood, it just depends on how clean your tool gets it, is how much you need. But I'll normally go from 150, 240, 320, 400, 600, and then I go 1,000 on the wet sanding paper, 1,200, and then 1,500, and that stuff goes on up to 5,000. I mean, it just depends on what you get. I got a pack on my wish list that I'm gonna get because I got to get some more wet sanding paper, but it goes from 80 grit up to 5,000 grit, and it gives you a couple of pieces of each. Yeah, it'll last you a good while. Doing the little projects I do, it lasts me a good bit. So, and then they have different kind of sandpapers out there too. I'm gonna get me a box. Like, where's my box at? I got this. Jordy Johnson had this on his Amazon. This box has lasted me forever. I'm trying to make sure I show in the grit in the picture, but it's emery cloth rolls, and it's got all that in there. And I just tear off little pieces of that and go with it until I get to my wet sand and stuff. But they have a box of stuff like that that's got mesh paper. So it's like little diamond mesh, so your dust and all don't stick to it as bad. It's supposed to be a little bit better to use, but I haven't tried any of it yet. But I'm gonna get me a box of that next time I order some. And it's set up the same. It's got all those grits in it. It's just meshed instead of solid. Yeah, a touch more pressure, but that right there, I cannot. Hey, I gotta stop. I'm gonna split that. No more pressure. Let's just go with what we got. That's too thin. Cedar will split. Just trying to wipe off the excess polish and wax off of it now. So basically, I made a little mushroom. That's where I was going with this piece. I needed to taper it more at the top and give it more of a swoop going up, but I was afraid that I was going to break that right there. So we stopped at what we had right there. Alright, one more piece of cloth to get the rest of it out of there, and then this is done. No, I haven't used any of that yet. I've used a little bit of mineral oil, but it wasn't, you go to the hardware store and buy it. I don't remember. I think it was my wannabe hack of baby oil or something like that as mineral oil. And then just this wax, this Yorkshire grit that I use It's got beeswax and mineral oil in that, and so I use that on to get a little bit of a seal and a little bit of a shine on the pieces. But that's about as much oil as I use. Alright, y'all, this one's done. I gotta glue it. I got to drill it out. Man, I got a splinter right there. A tear out splinter right there in the grain. That's the only spot too. I'm leaving it. Gonna give it some more character. There you go. Right there. It's not too bad though, but that'll be a little spoon, and I'll shorten the metal on that, and I'll drill it out and put, right down the center. I'll epoxy the little spoons in there. That's what I'm doing now. I got a bunch of clips, so I'm doing doing some spoons. This is what I've done this morning. Ooh, make sure I got y'all on camera. Hey, how about this? Oh, there we go. This is what I've done this morning. This one was a piece that Miss Francis sent me. Like I said, I love the way that come out. I do not know the wood, but it's awesome color. And then the cedars. But I'm going to drill them, put my spoons in them, and let's see. This one I have a little bit to sand off the bottom. But yeah, just a little bit of sanding on there. What I'll do is I'm not going to sand it all the way and get that hole completely gone. I'll sand it down some, and I'll put just a little bit of resin in there and seal it, and then sand it smooth. Awesome. I'm going to jump off of here. It's past time for me to feed my dogs. I've heard them kick the door a few times. But thank you for everybody that tuned in and then put up with my crazy babble this morning. I greatly appreciate all the support. And I hope everybody has an awesome weekend, an awesome day. And yeah, Grumpy's been nuts on the live. So if I find an opening, I'll probably jump into it later. And again, we'll probably do some more dab spoons and stuff. I want to do this, but this is going to take me a little bit of time. I'm not going to be going at this as aggressive because this is going to be bound up. So if I get a catch right here, it's going to throw my tool or break something right here. So I have to go easy when I do this piece. But that's coming. Let me break y'all off the mount. Get a little seasick. Oh, sit back a little bit. I'm propped up on my chair. That's my crazy workstation. That's my little dinky lace. It's not a huge lace. I want to upgrade for sure so I can do bigger pieces. 8-inch round by I think 13, and then I can buy an extension to extend that bed, but I don't want nothing that long. I'm not trying to do furniture spindles or nothing. So this served its purpose for what I wanted, but like I said, I want to get into some bigger pieces, so we will be upgrading. And then there's my box of cedar. I'm still digging deep in there. I got all kinds of cedar to turn. And there's some of my wood stacked up. This is my wormwood right here. Jordy talks about wormwood. I just broke his nose. I started to try to do a wood spirit in that, but it's real hard to carve without flinging pieces everywhere. But he done a cool piece, and I'm trying to get him in there, but that's a work in progress. What I want to do is get my vacuum chamber and stabilize some of this stuff and fill it with resin and carve it, because this is another piece. It's just eat up. This is, I think, cypress out of Blackwater River here in my area. And it's been dry for many, 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 many years sitting there up. And there's my little dust deputy that all my wood shavings and epoxy goes into. But, all right, y'all. Babble, babble, babble. I appreciate all the support. Please hit that like. Give me some comments. Show Grumpy some crazy love. Y'all have an awesome Saturday. And God bless everybody. Y'all be safe. Stay safe out there. Robert, I'll probably see you later if you jump on. Y'all be safe. Y'all go check out Robert's channel. He does some cool 420 pipes. All right. Y'all be safe.